Welcome back to episode 8 of a brutal Vulcan start. Here we are just returning from a mining run of the previous episode. And we'll do our routine, refill our jetpack, and we're going to grab our atmosphere card and see what's going on with our water. All right, so it's a little toasty. And the reason for this is that this is a very, let's be polite here, a bad design. I kind of rushed throwing it together, and it should be multiple stages with some IC controls and all that fun and games. But I was figuring, well, I just need a little bit of water. We'll just slam, cooling it, brute forcing it. All right, so since it's a little warm, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some radiators on it for the next night cycle. So basically, once it hits night, I'll put some radiators on the pipe. I disconnected the pipe from the cooling system, and then before morning hits, pull the pipes back off, and then hook up the cooling system. And then during the nighttime, the cooling system has been, processing along. And then the goal is that I'll get a chunk of it down, and then it's a little bit easier to cool the rest of it down for my initial batch of water. Doing the old ore search, and multiple threads are going on here. It's also I got to deal with the create some lockers. It's getting a bit messy in some of the rooms, so we'll create some liquid radiators. So the convection rate of a one of these radiators is like 1.05, and one of the big medium ones is 9. So basically, if you put 9 of these in the same space, then you should get the equivalent cooling ability. So let's kind of put them over here and save it. And I disconnected it because I didn't want the cooling system trying to cool it when I'm just going to throw some radiators on it. Now I have done this one thing where I'll have radiators outside but enclosed with doors. And what it would do is that an IC chip, and it would compare the temperature outside with the temperature of the gas or whatever's in the pipes for the radiators. And the obvious is what's in the radiator is hotter than what's outside, the doors are open. If it's the opposite, the doors are closed. And this prevents a scenario where, let's say you're reheating, like in case of water, you're cooling it down, and it hits daylight, you don't want to heat it back up. And so in this scenario, the doors would close, preventing the heat from coming in and heating up all that, whatever you had in there. And that technique worked pretty well. Once again, it takes time setting it all up, and I was trying to do something easy here. I mean, in the general thinking was, okay, let's get the water kind of cooking, and while the water's cooking, that frees up time to, refactor stuff. But in all that, I said, this is just not going to be in a good situation here. Trying to generate enough oxygen for my character and for generating water all at the same time, especially in this early game. I don't need a much larger hydroponic facility. So I'm going to go ahead and do some trading. Well, at least set up the trading facility. Just only putting stuff back up, trying to keep the little base here reasonably neat. Need some silver to make the communication card, and as a rule I don't stock silver ingots because the only time I smelt silver is to make electron and I use it all up. So I'm just going to grab, I guess I could split that up. I just took the whole pile of 27, just threw it in there. I didn't need that much. I didn't think about that. I could just split the ore up and just take what I needed for the communication card. Oh well, silver is really not a problem on this map, so I'm a little wasteful in silver. It's not going to hurt. And the plus side, I warmed up my furnace a little bit, so now I can go ahead and smelt all this stuff. Should be able to smelt it, degas and smelt in one shot. So I'll just So the general game plan in here is to go ahead and create water, because else we would have ran out, in small batches. While that will do trading, and we need something, water or oxygen, or preferably, oxide. The oxide gives you the cooling effect. And because I don't think I'm going to make it on just the generating O2. Now my fallback plan is to I'll shrink the if I need to, I'll shrink the hydroponic room, and by just closing parts, moving stuff around and closing it up to keep the pressure up. I also been saving up some CO2, and I go ahead and move some of that over, but that's warmer gas. And so I can't put too much of that in there. But I think the best thing is just reduce the volume of the hydroponic room. If it wasn't for the hygiene issue, it'd be pretty simple. I just use the airlock, single room airlock for O2, like at the very beginning, and then just eat, drink in there. And this room would just be, almost all CO2. But unfortunately, or fortunately, with hygiene, we got to deal with that issue, and I'm way too early to set up the shower. Yeah, I got another row of hydroponics I can put in there. So that corner right there, and I move that stuff over and move this on the other side, and these two frames I can just wall in and pump all the gas out of it and pump pressure up. All right, so yeah, we're getting a little tight here. Food won't be a problem because potatoes kicking in. We got the big oven. And as I said before, if you're using the microwave, just don't. All right, so we're gonna steal a little bit more water because we're still waiting for our first batch to make it. So we're gonna take a little bit more from hydroponics. Trying to spend a little bit of time keeping the base neat and tidy here, because I do lose time at point where I move stuff around. Like if I clean out this corner, if I just toss it over to the other side, and I'm tossing it back, so I spend a lot of time tossing these worthless pieces around. So I just get them up in the shelving, which I probably should have done earlier. Then I'm not handling stuff so often, but learn how to use a cutter here. Yeah, I also been realized I'm just not really utilizing transformers enough. I should probably toss those. Like this room's probably on its own transformer, so when I cut the line, that won't affect anything else. Yeah, the pressure is slowly dropping in this room. Really, it's a gas loss. I mean, I take the O2 and I breathe it and dump all the CO2 back in there, and the plants convert back to O2 again. And but somehow there's something lost in translation there, and it seems to drop anyway. We should have a closed loop at this point. I kept grabbing my cutter there and had a dead battery in it and kept swapping batteries around. All right, so we need some frames so we can build out our area for the launch pad. Wait for dark for that, or our landing pad. Okay, we got a dish, we got a communication card, we got a computer, and this is why we clean out the corner, and instead of throwing it to another pile, I do it in the lockers. Yeah, I should have just built one of these earlier, because that way I have it for trading, but initially just use it for programming stuff, and it's cheaper to build than the laptop. Trying to clear out my inventory a little bit. And the vending machine, those were expensive. This is sort of why I have to do all that mining, because I keep building all this stuff, and all of a sudden you don't want to run out right now of something critical, and then you're kind of stuck. Yeah, I'm starting to look at my little phase change AC system. So I've been playing around with a new design that, you know, has first and second stages all sort of merged together. Try and squeeze it into one frame, or just to save space. Might to do a one frame version and a 2 frame version. All right, so we need our housing, and we need an IC chip, and so for controlling the satellite dish, I don't have the fancy auto searching. I know the scripts are available on the workshop, but I want to figure it out on my own. And I've been away for a while, so I haven't spent the time to work that out. So this script is pretty simplistic. It just has 2 dials, and 2 dials represent the horizontal and vertical, so I can muck with that. It does have a unique feature that the IC chip monitors the power supply to the computer itself. So when I turn on the computer, it turns on all the components. And I turn off the computer, it turns off all the components. It also jacks the satellite dish to full 200 watts. And so that way I don't have to run around, manually turning things off, or before I put everything on a transformer and flip the transformer. But trying to isolate all these cables, because I have the way the cable runs, is kind of difficult. So it's kind of interesting script. So it starts up and it configures everything, it configures the dials and configures the satellite dish, and then it just sort of loops around monitoring the power of the computer and power everything on and off based on that. And otherwise, just look at the dial and echo that to the. Okay, so now we're going to drop these on here. And have just 3. More would be better, but we'll just kind of make that work. All right, so a little construction. We haven't done that in a while. Actually, let's go ahead and speed this up a little bit. So I'm now running at 3x. I think I'm trying to play around the speed. I think 2x is a little too still sluggish, and like 5x kind of blurs. So if you want to at least see what the heck I'm doing, I think 3x it's just pretty basic stuff at this point. So I'm not getting fancy with the little lines and the crosses and all that. Just put blank ones in there. It's fine. Okay, so we got a little power module. And I'm actually going to place the vending machine outside, and because there's lack of room inside. And if I get ice, shaded with ice, what I'm going to do is I'm going to then turn around and close the vending machine in a little, 1x2 room. Okay, we're checking our water here, how much it cooled down. Well, somewhat. And I don't want to mess up here and it turns day and then it starts heating back up again. So we're just going to have to... Okay, so we got those off and pick up our wrench. And continue on here. So as I say, I put this out here. If I get ice, then I'm trying to figure out where to stick it. And I'll just come out here and weld the bottoms and put walls in it and a pump and a little mini room and vacuum it out and then grab the stuff. Because once the ice is in your mining belt, then it won't decay. Then once I have it there, then I can move it around as needed. But if I don't get any ice stuff, then it doesn't matter. If I get liquids or gas, I'll have to build some crap for that too. My plan there is I'll build the components I need, have them ready, and then I'll build everything I need to do gas and everything I need for liquid. And then depending on what trader I have, I'll just quickly lay out whatever I need for that particular trade versus, over engineering everything early on. Okay, our beacon's on and we'll try to squeeze in a little bit of mining. It's dawn, but we can do a little bit here. Figure I squeeze in a little mining, a little extra CO2. It's not going to hurt us in the hydroponics. We actually need more CO2 in there. And the world's crappiest Vulcan AC system is, put that down, is still in the good enough phase, which is nice since I have to muck with it. All right. And I didn't put the filter on there because I left it in the other room. No, that's not the filler. Those are the radiators. Okay, not there. Looking around. If I dropped the filter, I thought I brought it out here. Obviously not. All right. So close, getting closer. We just need 100 for drinkable water. As strange as that is, I'm surprised they didn't change that. I mean, that was the way it was before. It has to be at least below 100. And I thought they would, decide that's a little bit silly to have 100 Celsius water drinkable. That they would lower it down to 40 or something. At least match your, air temperature that you're breathable. I have done runs where I make a self-rule the water has to be at least, say 40. But I'm a little bit in a bad place now, so we're going to just go with the game rule. And always print more cables, down to one cable. Given the pile of copper I have, I should have a lot of cables. Make a quick run and pop this filler. I thought about just making another one, but I go, well, I'll just grab this one. I don't need it in here. Trying to think of anything useful I should do in here while I'm here. I should at least pull my helmet off finally. Yeah, that's is that the last of. Well, I can pull more water out of there, but there comes a threshold where I pull too much out of there, the plants all die. And that is actually a fallback plan. So the fallback plan, if I get in dire straits, is I will try to collect as many seeds as possible, and then probably put a fridge in here, clean out the entire hydroponic, get all the potatoes, throw them in a fridge, and then and hope for a good trader. Now, there is actually an exploit. If you throw a potato in the oven but don't cook it, it doesn't spoil. So you can actually take all the potatoes raw, throw them in the oven, just cook them one by one as needed, and they never go bad. And but I'm not going to leverage that exploit. So if I want to cook a potato, I'll just throw it in and cook it up and go with that. If I want to store them, then I'll have to do a fridge or throw them in a vacuum and let them rot slowly. Okay, so we're going to put this on here, and then magically we're going to have water over the next night cycle. If not, I have a little bit water left in the hydroponics, and I might have to tap more off there if I don't get something useful. And since I've already recorded this episode, I know what happens, and I do get water in time to live for another day. And I'm going, cabling. I go run the cable that on the back of it, which I can do, but I go, well, it makes sense going around the other way, so I'll just flip these around. Makes more sense cabling wise. If I can mount them on the wall there, right? All right. Yeah, so basically the way this playthrough is that, you know, if I hit like zero hydration, then, you know, it's over, done. I stop at that point. But it doesn't seem food will be an issue at this point, because I believe if I become desperate enough to suck all the water out of the hydroponics, then by then I'll have lots of potatoes that I'm trying to think if they spoil slowly after they're baked or not. Whichever it is, I'll cook them up and throw them in the fridge, and that's plenty of food for a long time. And then hope to get a trader with something and rebuild the hydroponics later on. But obviously we're getting some oxygen out of there, or it's helping a little bit, it seems. So the only two I have to label are these two. And yeah, I decided to number them Sat1 in case I get silly at some point and have multiple satellites. But I think if we get to that point, I would have it all automated. So we'll just, while the label is in my hand, we'll just call these Sat1s, whatever they are. I'm not going to label the stuff outside. When it's hot out there, and they're pretty unique at this point. I have no idea what I'm doing here. Probably looking around for something useful to do. Oh, I was looking for the laptop. I couldn't find it. See, another reason not to use a stupid laptop. I swear to God, the next run, I am not using a laptop. I will put computer terminals. I'll put 10 computer terminals up before I build another. Okay. It doesn't do anything too clever. And you get a laptop, then we gotta close it, and we gotta put it away. I don't know. Now the fun part. Because I have like everything in the world on these lines, I have to like skip through like half a dozen. I'm actually gonna speed this part up because it's boring as heck. Okay, so I forgot I did not fully wire the dish up. I wired it up top. I didn't run the wire down. So I couldn't find it when I was looking for it when I was trying to get the first one. So the first one's a satellite. And then I think that's the landing pad, then the vending machine. And then we have, yep, and then the computer. It needs to know the computer because it reads the computer power state. So it knows to replicate that state across. And then we have dial X and Y, all 6 of them. And not the magical perfect one we want the first time. Oh, for anyone watching this, is there some way to filter out on the screen right here just the 3x3s and keep like the 5x5s and other stuff just not to show up? I know you can do it within code, but I'm not aware if you can do anything to the terminal itself. I haven't tried putting a data card in there to see if I can program it or something, but yeah. Okay, so yeah, I believe I sped this up too. Yeah, this is actually all at 3x, so the actual section of me trying to find Mr. Munchies here is at 3x. I think like Mr. Munchie's right above. I think when they're like right above the dish, they're hard to find. And I have to like look around, and you can be trying to lock in, but you just can't get it locked in. So now you have to take the horizontal and spin it around to the other side, try to get locked in, and then nail it in there because it's too high above you. When it's sort of off like 45 degrees or so in that area, and then those are simple to lock in quickly. Yeah. There's code for this, which would be a big time saver. Believe it or not, I will find Mr. Munchies here. Okay. This is 3x, man. Okay. Getting close. Okay, so what is it outside? It's already night. Look, we have water. All right, so we got water, and we have, and they all, I haven't really played when they added all these new. I played with like the old traders when they had like a couple and like 5 or whatever it was. I'm looking for the trader, but now they have like a million of them, so I'm not sure about all the names. Even if something doesn't have anything I need to sell stuff to try to increase my cash flow here. Okay, Mr. Robot. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm living on potatoes right now, so let's buy some duct tape. Saw some hand sanitizer on there. Does that help with the hygiene? I need to look that up. I'm curious if there's other things you can make to deal with the hygiene issue besides standing in an atmosphere environment and besides the shower. It's like if sanitizer works, then I can just do that in an airlock and wash my hands with that. All right, so not a very useful first trade. So we'll spend the rest of the evening here doing a little mining. And we're back. And Vulcan has the nicest maps, you know. Venus is so boring. Even inside you have that haze of orange or whatever everywhere, or yellow-orange. All right, so we got some water. We can live a little longer now. And we don't have to sacrifice our potatoes. I actually do remember at some point I have to go upstairs and fix my solar panels. Yeah, we're finally going to make a smart canister for our jetpack. Because 8,000 whatever doesn't cut it on a mining trip. Especially now to fly out further and further to find the good loads. And at some point, if you get this episode or next episode, I will finish that door off. Let's crank this all the way up. There. Now, as long as I remember to fill it, that should be more than enough. Oh, and also I have my jetpack, my green container there on my jetpack. Oh yeah, now we have another wonderful. So back to the jetpack. So next, what I should have done is switched over to a normal canister or as early as possible, and then save that gas, and then because it's cool gas, and then once I had hydroponics, just dump all that nitrogen into the hydroponic area and not just contaminate it. I just reused the container. I forgot about that. So and you can do a pretty cheap thing with just an active vent and pipe in a connector, and boom, you can fill up a tank easily. Very early game. And then to save that gas for later. Speaking of early game, I'm just thinking that I could put a jetpack filler inside my little 1x1 room that I start with. Something I can do while I'm waiting. Okay, so make a little more progress on our... this must be the slowest airlock construction ever. Okay, and being creative, this will be door number 2. We already used number 1. We're just giving some clever name like hydroponic airlock door, whatever. So by suffixing everything with a 2, and then when I look into the list, I kind of like skim through them pretty quickly to look for that 2 at the end of the list. And we'll fix these to 0 because why not? Okay. And it resets my little list here. And I'm looking for those 2s. There's a 2. Yep. Yep. And another one, and one more. All right. No more worry about... this is definitely faster getting through this. I can just push the button and wait and not... close the door and play with the vents and don't hit the wrong button. And the pressure keeps going down in this room. And the plants are not optimum. I know that. And you get about over 50 again. And it's just too many things going on. The potatoes do quite well. least I won't starve. Speaking of starving on potatoes, has anyone watched the old sci-fi movie Robinson Crusoe on Mars? I don't know when it was made. 60s, 70s. Landed on Mars, had a monkey with him. At least, shut up, you've seen the movie. I wonder if it's available. I have to look it up and see if it's still Prime or Netflix or somebody who has it. It'd be kind of fun to watch it again. It's been a while. All right, so yeah, well, this is effectively 10, including the airlock. You're looking at 10 grids, so multiply everything by 10. So, you know, I got almost 700. Now, 700 moles of O2 in the room, but I have some stored in the tank that I've been compressing in the pipes, and of course, what I'm carrying. So, 900 moles of O2. Everything. And the plants are, now the plants are fully mature and they're doing their things, and I need to add another row. I can't really expand the room because of the pressure. Or do something a little more compact in there so I can squeeze more plants in there. I think at this point I'm going to live or die on the trade. So my hydroponic room is just slowing down the process of generating some O2, and we'll organize some more here while we're waiting. We're going to 3x this playing with ores and smelting and whatnot. I think you've all seen this more than enough. Yeah, I still haven't built my advanced furnace. I have all that. I'm saving all that hot gas from the combustor, so that won't be a problem. A little bit of more water. So we empty that unit out. Okay. And temperature's coming down. We're still filling our smart tank, and so it's just sort of an idle time right now where I'm waiting for a new trader, and can't go outside, so I organize stuff. So I'm putting the insulated gas tank. I have even have the code written already for it. So basically at night to add gas to this tank. So basically all it does is when it hits nighttime, you know, the temperature is below a certain threshold, it just adds gas to the tank. It makes sure it doesn't overpressure the tank, and then it has a small drain for any pollutants that may liquefy. And that would be the input for my filters I have that's extracting volatiles and CO2 out of the atmosphere. And that's inefficient right now because the pressure, incoming pressure, is very low. By putting a large tank on it, that does two things. One, it means that you'll have a much higher pressure, and two, it can run 24 hours game-wise and not shut down when it gets hot, because it's only night like 1/3 of the time. So it's 2/3 of the times it's not running. And so I'll set that up and put it outside. It doesn't need much. It just needs, power fan or even active vent and some logic, a sensor, an IC, and all that. But it takes time gathering the little components and setting it all up. Those times where I'm waiting for a trader or waiting for water to cool. Unfortunately, you can only assemble at night And, you know, a lot of that nighttime is required to keep the ore flow coming in. Although I think you could probably ignore copper for a little bit now. Like, for example, we want to make a power vent instead of using an active vent. Being a little fancy. We can steal some from here or have to make some. So trying to decide, do I smelt some more? Nope, can't smelt any more right now. Getting low on. I think gold we're getting low on. Yeah, surprisingly, I'm not doing too bad finding gold, especially when I'm not looking for it. Okay, so Mr. Mechanic. Yeah. Not worth printing the electron. So, okay. So since I got the trader, and I wait till, you know, it gets cooler to go out and actually do the trade, so I don't roast out there. And I decided, well, I don't know how much, you know, the stuff I need is going to cost. So I could print a bunch of IC chips. That's not so bad, you know. And, you know, it's just nothing that exotic. Except I'm almost out of solder, so I'm going to make some more solder. So what I'll do, I'm going to print up some ICs and get that going. And I'm going to make some more solder here, which is not too bad during the nighttime. Let that go, then go mining and while my IC chips are printing, and then come back and then trade the IC. And then I realized I have some cables laying around, so grab those and make a little extra cash and send them on its way. Looking for that lead or iron or something. When I do the voiceovers, I don't actually have a clear view of the playback. For performance reasons, I'm using Adobe Premiere, and it downscales the image a little bit. It maintains full frame rate, but the quality is not perfect for the speed. Now, obviously, when it crunches out the final version, that's much better. So sometimes I have a hard time reading what the heck I'm doing here sometimes. All right, so we got some chips and looking around for something useful to do here. So I'll throw some chips in the vending machine there. And have it printing up more. We swapped our card, so we can make sure we put that back. Probably just make another tablet and not have to keep switching cards like this. Another printed. There it going. All right, so beacon works. Okay, Mr. Trader, we'll be back. So what's going to happen now? I'm going to go out and find me a nice little spot with a lot of ore and mine like a bandit. And then when it hits morning, I'm going to come on back and then end in the airlock. And for this, so I'll be done with this episode. Begin the next episode, which I've actually already recorded but haven't voiced over yet. The first thing I'll do is rush in, grab those extra chips, that printed and some cable, toss it in there, sell it, and send him on his way. And wait for the next trader. And salt 5X. Be just a little bit more aggressive outside because that little extra CO2 goes into the hydroponics room. All right, until next episode, see ya.